All right, it's 6 o'clock. Are we good to go in the back room? Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. Before we call the meeting to order, we will have a prayer led by Councilman Schreiber, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thanks for our family and purpose, and the nation strives for America, a nation comprised of many citizens, generous, giving, passionate. A nation unlike any history. We built and fed those nations for our oppressors and war. May we, with your divine guidance, continue to lift high the lamp of liberty in a troubled world. May we stand in unity without apology as one people represented by our national flag of 13 stripes and 50 unified stars. Red, a symbol of strength and valor, white for purity, and the blue for vigilance and justice. Most gracious Father, your blessing, may we remain strong. May we demonstrate valor, strive for purity, be a just nation. Stand here before you in our flag of red, white, and blue. Let each of us in our hearts remember we are one nation under God. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. I will now call to order the Tuesday, July 6, 2021 City Council meeting. You can also join this meeting virtually. If you go to our website, jeffersoncitymo.gov, and click on the agenda, you can click to join virtually, and the call-in participation information is also listed there on the agenda. Item 2 is roll call, please. Mrs. Donaldson?
Fitzwater.
Present.
Hensley.
Present.
Kimna.
Here.
Lester.
Here.
Schreiber.
Present.
Spencer.
Here.
Spicer.
Present.
Vogt.
Here.
Ward. Here. Wiseman.
Present.
Item 3, is there a motion to adopt the agenda? Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 4, miscellaneous agenda items. I will give a pandemic update. I have a written report from the Cole County Health Department that I will share this evening. And I do ask that we pay extra special attention. I know as cases increase, I think it's important to realize that we still have work to do. So this is from the Cole County Health Department. In the last couple weeks, Cole County has seen an increase in COVID-19 cases. These cases seem to be stemming from close contact with other positive cases, travel, and mass events. Since March 1st, 2021, we have had 495 cases, 56 breakthrough cases. Of the breakthrough cases since March, 41 have occurred since June 1st. This means those who have been fully vaccinated, meaning it has been at least 2 weeks since their last vaccine dose, have tested positive for COVID-19. That is what the breakthrough case means. The manufacturers of the COVID-19 vaccines available in the community were not EUA approved for the purpose of preventing individuals from testing positive for COVID-19. The goal of the COVID-19 vaccine is to decrease the severity of symptoms of COVID-19 and decrease the risk of hospitalizations and deaths. Those we have spoken to who have been fully vaccinated, for the most part, are experiencing mild symptoms. There has been at least one breakthrough case that was hospitalized. As summer continues in full swing, we need to be mindful of our activities, remember how COVID-19 is spread, and continue doing all the things to protect ourselves and our loved ones, even if fully vaccinated. Wash your hands frequently, especially before eating or drinking. Take your vitamins and eat healthy, well-balanced diet. Stay home if you are sick. Distance as much as possible. 6 feet or more is preferred. If you are not fully vaccinated, wear a mask when distancing cannot be achieved. If you have any questions, you can reach out to the Cole County Health Department. I also did speak with one of our hospitals who I spoke with Dr. Randall Haight, who says, as per other areas, the vast majority of patients who have been admitted to the hospital have not been vaccinated. So hearing both of those reports, it reminds us of how important it is to get the vaccine. And I'm going to announce a couple of places that you can get those here in Jefferson City. So the Capitol Mall site has 2 more days that it will be open and available for vaccinations. Those days are Thursday, July 8th, which is this Thursday, July 8th, and next Thursday, July 15th, from noon to 6 p.m., with the last appointment at 5:40 p.m. Walk-ins are welcome until 4 p.m. Also, after that date, you can take note that the Cole County Health Department will offer vaccines on Thursdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. in their walk-in clinic starting July 22nd. So, in addition, most pharmacies are offering that, or you could reach out to your physician. So if you have not had a chance to receive your vaccine, there are many ways and places. It's very easy to do so, and would encourage everyone in Cole County, if they have not done so already, to please do that. Are there any questions on the pandemic update? Okay. Item 5, we have no public hearings. Item 6, no appointments by the mayor. Item 7, presentations from staff, consultants, and invited guests. This is a very exciting time here in the meeting that we get to welcome Interim President of Lincoln University, Dr. John Mosley, and his leadership team. So we would like to invite you to come forward, Dr. Mosley, and then we know you have a team. And what is really great about you is you are definitely a team player. So we want to officially welcome you in your new position.
Well, thank you. Thank you to the council and mayor for having us over tonight. I want to start with something light. I'm not sure what's more surprising, Councilman Schreiber doing the prayer tonight or myself being the interim president at Lincoln. I don't know which one of those is most shocking. Councilman, thank you. I'll pay for that one tomorrow. Listen, let me just say, I've been in front of this council in a few different positions that I've held, and it's quite an honor to be back in this role for whatever time this may be. I'm extremely grateful and thankful that the curators at Lincoln have given me this opportunity. And I would say that there is no success at Lincoln without the group of individuals that I have with me tonight, and a couple of more that could not be here. I want to quickly introduce them. I'll go in order just so I don't leave anybody out or start in the wrong place. Chief Gary Hill, many of you already know. Chief Hill is our Vice President of Campus Culture, which is a new title, as well as our Chief of Police and then the Director of the Lincoln University Law Enforcement Training Academy. Ms. Zakia Brown is our Dean of Students. She's been at the university since 2019 in a different role, and she was promoted to this role at the start of my tenure. Miss Misty Nunn, if you email her, it's Young Misty, but she was Miss Misty Young. She's been married since she's been there because she is the Director of Marketing and University Relations. That's been a title change, so I had to think about it. And she's been at Lincoln. Gary, Misty, and Laura Bennett Smith is next. They're graduates of Lincoln University, and as well as Sandy Ketting. Laura is serving as the Director of Strategic Initiatives. Get it right? And so many new titles, new people. It's trying to make sure I know what's going on. Sandy Cutting has been around for a long time. She's the elder statesman on the staff. She is our Vice President for Finance and Administration. She was a Lincoln student and has been at the university since that time in various capacities and was promoted to that role previously in the past few years. So she and I had served together on the previous administration's leadership team. And last is Dr. Jennifer Benny. She, like me, are interims. She's the interim provost and vice president for academic affairs. When you are the interim, my background in sports comes in handy because it's almost like I'm trying out for the team every day. And when I get to work, I hope that my name is on the door, which means I can come back for another night, kind of like high school tryouts. And so I don't know, I expect a disappointment. The search plan right now is to go through bids to find a company to handle the search for a president and for a vice president for academic affairs. I expect that that process is going to run anywhere from 6 to 9 months. At a public board meeting, I think the board's goal is to try to have somebody named by March. I will say that I'm on record as saying I hope to be a candidate for the permanent position. I absolutely love the university. I think we have a tremendous team behind me. We did name a vice president for advancement in athletics to replace me as the athletic director. His name is Kevin Wilson. He'll get to town on Friday and start his tenure. He's married with 2 young kids, and so he got to visit Jefferson City during that process, and we were able to convince him that it's a great place to raise a family. I have 2 more positions to fill, Dean of Enrollment Management that'll oversee admissions, financial aid, and the registrar's office, as well as we are seeking a human resources director. And so those will be 2 more important members of this team, and we hope to continue to lead the university. We are Jefferson City's university. I say it loud, I say it proud. I know we're in the shadow of Mizzou. My tagline is, you can support Mizzou and still be true blue. We offer a great education. We're local, we're affordable, and it's a quality education right here in Jefferson City. And so I could talk all night about it. I know you guys take up really important topics and you have to debate. This is one near and dear to my heart. And so I am honored to serve in this capacity. Happy to answer any questions, but I know you've got more important business tonight. But I do want to extend a thank you to the city. Dr. Darius Watson is working right now for our week of welcome with our new students that will be arriving in August. And we've reached out to various constituents in the city, and the city has been very gracious. I am convinced that this city wants to see Lincoln University succeed. And so it's our goal now to make sure that that happens. We're going to maintain our HBCU legacy. It's one in which I fully believe in. This is the 3rd HBCU where I've been fortunate enough to work. That's a very important mission here in Jefferson City, but it's also smart for us to understand that we're Central Missouri University, and we have to serve this community, and we're going to do that. I believe fully that there are enough students here that will choose Lincoln because it is close, it is affordable. You can get a 4-year degree for less than $25,000 in tuition and fees if you have a 17 ACT and a 2.5 GPA. And that's a huge sales pitch for us that we've got to get out on the streets and make sure people are aware of that. We're still going to maintain our recruiting bases in St. Louis and Kansas City, Chicago, Memphis, Atlanta, the state of Texas, the state of California, Indianapolis, Tulsa. We're going to still be there. There's a lot of students that come to Lincoln because of the HBCU experience. But I think for me, the HBCU experience includes family that you don't always feel on every campus. When you're on a small campus like Lincoln, it's like the campus puts its arms around you to ensure that you succeed. And I expect that that's going to continue. But I expect that students from Jeff City High, Elias, Blair Oaks, Eugene, those students will benefit from that same experience. And they can get it right here in Jefferson City at Lincoln University. So if you see me around, please come up and speak. If you are members of any civic organizations that you think it would benefit them to hear about the story of Lincoln, myself or any member of this team would love to come out. I don't want to be the only face. This group behind me understands the commitment to Jefferson City. Many of them have been here for many years, which was important to me too, to have people on our staff that wanted to be in Jefferson City. I know for my family and I, we feel very fortunate that Jefferson City's been so good to our family and given us 7 great years, and we're looking forward to whatever the future may hold. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mosley. And if you would like to come forward and go ahead and invite your team up to the podium, and that way if council has any questions, we'll get a picture before you all leave. But we'd like to invite you all up. And absolutely, the success of our capital city is definitely Lincoln University is integral part of that. And you know, Lincoln, of course, is so important, not just with the students, but also it is a top employer in our capital city. There are so many aspects of Lincoln, people that make their homes here, and between the students and faculty and staff and just the experience that you offer to your students is so important. So does council have any questions for Dr. Mosley or any staff? Councilman Spicer?
We just need you to be the president, so whatever we have to do that, because he's a big asset to our community. Does a lot of people together, and we're very happy to have him. Gary, I mean, I don't know about him too much. But no, he's a good guy, but we'd love to have you as our president. So whatever we can do, and I'll speak for a lot of these guys too. Love to have you as our president. So thank you.
We are very fortunate. Appreciate that. And we also, I'm going to mention Dave, Councilman Kemna is an alum of Lincoln as well. And I know mentions that pretty often. There may be others here as well, but I know that appreciate the advocating in the community. And I know Chief Hill, I'll put you on the spot too. Do you want to give us at the mic, give us a brief mention of the Law Enforcement Training Academy, which is the first of its kind in the nation while you're here?
Just recently graduated 9 cadets, recruits from the academy. We started out with 13, we got down to 9. Our next class starts August 16th, and right now we're reviewing 15 applications, and we just received 4 more today. So once we get through going through those background processes of those recruits, then we'll have a pretty good solid number on the program starting in August. So we'll only hold a class in every semester. So in August and in January would be 2 classes that we have. So we're really excited about the program. It is doing well. We received a lot of support nationwide from it. And it is really helping us to increase the minority footprint in law enforcement with people who had never thought about going to the academy now feel like they can go to a place where it's inclusive and they can get a good education and be prepared to do law enforcement work in our communities.
Thank you for your leadership and work on that. And I was honored to attend the graduation ceremony, and it was amazing to be a part of that and see the progress that's been made and the families and those that have come from all around the country here to Lincoln and what we have to offer here for diversity in our law enforcement training academy and to be an example to the rest of the country. And in fact, you did shine quite a spotlight on the capital city in the media, gave a lot of great media attention to the capital city and to Lincoln University.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Any other council comments, questions? Councilman.
I just want to thank you, Mr. Mosley, for coming tonight and the rest of your leadership team. I just get a lot of enthusiasm vibe from you, and there's a lot of excitement that you bring to the table with your experience, especially athletic background. I think you inspire obviously your team and probably your leadership team as well. So I just feel that excitement. So thank you very much.
Well, I appreciate it. And I will point out that for some that's concerned because there is not much of an academic background. I think leaders lead, and I'm really fortunate in that regard. Again, it takes a great team. One person alone is not going to change this university's direction. It's going to be everybody behind me and many, many others, including the council and many citizens right here in Jefferson City that we're going to ask to roll up their sleeves. We're trying to pilot a project here where we get mentors to come in and mentor some of our students. And so we may be back to some of you and some of your constituents to say, hey, would you be willing to take a student who may have a little bit of a different background and begin to break down some of those walls that currently exist between some of our students that come from the city, so to speak, Chicago, St. Louis, Kansas City. I think many of us in this room and many of us watching or many of your constituents could learn something from them, and as well they could learn from we could learn from them, they could learn from us, and so we gotta do what we can. There's a number of students at Lincoln that never make it to High Street. They only know the change from their cities. We've got to make sure that we do a good job as a city and as a community of making sure our students feel welcome. And so any assistance that you could do with that, we would greatly appreciate it. And then the last thing is just a sales pitch. You know, we've got the police academy, obviously, with Chief Hill, who's done a fantastic job. Our School of Nursing, we talked about COVID earlier, and our School of Nursing's 3rd best in the state, or in the top 3 in the state, from a passing percentage and making sure that every one of those get jobs, and many of them stay local here and serve this community. We've got agriculture scholarships through our land grant that are 100% scholarships, and we know that oftentimes when we hear agriculture, we think that you can only farm. There's many different careers that you can choose. Students that fit those requirements can get college paid for, room, board, tuition fees, everything. And so I encourage you to go back to your local constituents, and if they have a young person looking for a place to go to college, we've got opportunities for that. We've got opportunities for adults to return to college and finish their degrees. We've got a graduate school that maybe can prepare people for maybe another step in their career. And so I just think we've got a lot of great things at Lincoln that maybe we haven't done the best job of promoting, that if we can do that just a little bit better, we can start to see the direction of this university turn around. I'm thankful for your comment. I can tell you that I wake up every day and I love it. And I surrounded myself with people that feel that same way. And that makes all the difference in the world. I wouldn't do it for free because of the amount of work, but I tell you what, it's never been a day in this is 8 weeks that I felt like I was going to work. It's like you're going to face a challenge. I thought about it on the way over. It's like doing a Rubik's Cube behind your back with your eyes closed with some of the challenges that you face, but you never get bored. And so we're gonna give it a go. And I'm confident that this team behind me, we can help make things better. And we've got a tremendous group of faculty and staff on that campus that care about that university and our students. And so let's have some fun.
Thank you,
Anybody
Dr.
else?
Mosley, and we are here to help you. So whatever you
Thank you.
need from us and from the community, we are here for you. So we continue to promote Lincoln. So if you all want to come forward, we'll get a picture and council will come up and we'll get a picture together. Thank you. Item 8, announcements by mayor, council, and staff. We have our 4 standing committees. Do any of our committees have anything to announce? Councilman Hensley, any upcoming meetings? Okay.
No update.
Any other Councilman Fitzwater?
Yes, Public Works will meet this Thursday at 7:30. We do have some citizens coming in to speak to the group. We've got a pretty full agenda, but encourage any council members who want to participate with us to join us.
Okay. Any other committee announcements? My announcements, I did want to mention, we had a very successful 4th of July weekend. The Salute to America Foundation Board really works hard throughout the year to have a successful event. And this was a weekend-long event, Friday evening all the way through Sunday night. And weather was perfect, everything was great, but definitely want to give a shout out to all of the sponsors. There's a lot of people that give to that event so that we can have the fireworks and have all of the festivities and activities, and definitely lots of fun and music throughout the weekend, and all the volunteers. I know there's about 100 or so volunteers or more that come together every year to make that happen. So we appreciate the work on that committee to have Jefferson City have, I'd say, one of the top and one of the best July 4th festivals around. So appreciate that work of that committee. And also want to announce upcoming events. We have, of course, our statewide bicentennial. I know we've been talking about it for a couple of years, but here we are. It's coming up next month. August 10th is Statehood Day. So be sure to check out the bicentennial website, which is Missouri2021.org. There will be a lot of things going on here in Jefferson City on Tuesday, August 10th, from activities at the Capitol and the bicentennial stamp reveal, the statewide ice cream social at 2 p.m. that day. So you won't want to miss that. That'll probably be the most fun thing. A lot of great fun things going on really that entire weekend, but especially that Tuesday, the 10th. So if you're not already following Missouri 2021 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, be sure to do so. Are there any other council announcements? And item 9, we've already had our Lincoln University update. I know our Representative Stacy Landis is on summer break. Item 10, is there anyone signed up for presentations from the gallery this evening? No, is there anyone online? All right. Item 11, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Bills introduced 2021-29.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute an agreement with Jefferson Asphalt in the amount of $987,787.50 for the 2021 mill and overlay project.
Mr. Marash?
Thank you. Of course, as the clerk indicated, this is our contract with Jefferson Asphalt for our mill. One thing that probably isn't very clear in the summary is that this also includes the parking lot in McClung Park. Parks would be paying for that item in this contract. We often share this contract with other city divisions and departments, but we didn't make that very clear in our summary. But case is our intention. We talked about the list trees overlay the Public Works and Planning Committee meeting last in May. This is the result.
Thank you. Any questions? All right, 2021-30.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, amending the city code regarding electronic participation for meetings.
Mr. Molman?
Thank you. This bill would amend the city code regarding of boards, commissions, committees to utilize electronic participation consistent with the Sunshine Law. During the COVID period, emergency proclamation rules were a little bit relaxed on who and how city boards and commissions could conduct meetings through electronic participation. Now that the emergency declaration has expired, there was a desire to update those rules to allow for continued use of electronic participation. And so essentially, these rules require that committees appear by video conference and establish quorum by video conference. This is consistent with the Sunshine Law, which essentially treats video conference similar in treatment as regards to voting on roll call votes and quorum to appearing in person. There is a limitation that is included within this bill that no more than half of a board, committee, or commission's regularly scheduled meeting should be conducted by electronic means, by video conference. There is an exception built in here where essentially, for good cause, a board or commission can apply to the administration committee and then eventually be approved by the entire city council. So that would be on a case-by-case basis on application by the boards and commissions. And essentially, they would just need to show the city council why they want to do this and what their justifications are. No public hearings via video conference. That does not preclude members of the outside public from participating in public hearings, through video conference or other electronic participation. This is referring to participation by members of the board, commission, or committee. And so from a practical effect, that will essentially eliminate the Planning and Zoning Commission, the Board of Adjustment, and maybe a few others that regularly hold statutory public meetings from doing those in a electronic means. None of this would affect emergency situations. If emergency situations were to come up, we can then fall under the emergency rules that are provided for under the Sunshine Law. But this is really a way to have a base uniform way to handle electronic participation for our boards, commissions, and committees. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions?
Oh, and also there kindly some typos pointed out in the bill, and so those will be taken care of in the next iteration. So,
All right. Thank you, Mr. Molman. Any questions or comments, discussion? Councilman Fitzwater?
Yeah, I appreciate the work that's been done on this. I think I expressed some of my concerns when it presented to the administration committee. I still have concerns about doing city business for the elected members of that commission or the appointed members of the commission. I think it has been very helpful to allow citizens to participate via electronics in the 21st century, but I still think if we're going to be debating issues or people that have been appointed to our important commissions, they ought to be in a room, not to be looking individuals eyeball to eyeball and have discussions. So I'm still concerned about the provisions of this. I mean, I realize we're in a different world, hopefully post-COVID, but I think there are some policies and procedures pre-COVID that served us very well. Just hate to see us make changes, some of it because of what we've gone through the last 15 months, some of it possibly just looking at a new business model. But I don't think the old-fashioned eyeball-to-eyeball discussion has gone away. And I just have concerns that as we start down this track, it's going to become easier and easier to expand this opportunity. And I just do not support the intent of some of these changes.
Any other comments, questions? All right. Anything virtually there? Okay. Number 31, number 31.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, amending the 2020-2021 budget of the City of Jefferson, Missouri by appropriating additional funds within the General Fund, Parks Fund, Airport Fund, Parking Fund, Transit Fund, Wastewater Fund, and within the Workers' Compensation Fund.
Mr. Kroll.
This item would reestablish state-required escrow funding for our workers' compensation fund, funding in the amount of $200,000 and then $2,000 for administrative fees. And the funding would come from the various departments, the funds that the city clerk mentioned. Glad to answer any questions.
Questions, comments, discussion? 2021-32.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, accepting and approving the final subdivision plat of Shot Hill Woods Subdivision, Section 5, a subdivision of the City of Jefferson, Missouri.
Mr. Sanders.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This item was presented to the Planning and Zoning Commission by the property owner, and it is being forwarded with the recommendation to approve to the City Council. The property is basically a one-lot subdivision. It's about 7 acres. It's at the east end of Shot Hill Woods Road. It is on the north side. You can see here on the map. It's shaded and outlined in dark black there. All the zoning is planned unit development, except for north of the highway there, we have some residential. Basically, they're carving out this one lot. There have been several subdivisions and plats over the past. This is the first one in about 18, 19 years. The property does have all the utilities or access to all the utilities. There's not a sidewalk on the side of the street, which the property is, but it is required. There's also a streetlights requirement, I believe, and since it's not being built upon right now, stormwater issues have not been designed, but when development does occur on this property, there will be a sidewalk. There's a plat note on that. There will be streetlights, and of course, the developer will adhere to all the stormwater regulations and whatnot there is associated with development. It was forwarded to the from the Planning and Zoning Commission with unanimous recommendation to approve. With that, I would add there are fire hydrants along the street frontage there too. So, but it is a pretty straightforward, simple 7-acre, one subdivision. So hopefully that will help the property development sooner. Glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? Bills pending 2021-24.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, amending the FY 2021 budget of the City of Jefferson, Missouri by appropriating within the Park Fund.
Mr. Spalding.
Thank you. The Parks Commission and staff, we're requesting a supplemental appropriation of $59,559 from the Park Fund balance. The purpose of creating budget Vision 290 for our amphitheater in order to more accurately track our revenues and expenses. And this follows our professional services agreement with VenueWorks.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Fitzwater,
Aye.
Hensley,
Aye. Aye.
Kimna,
Aye.
Lester,
Aye.
Schreiber, Spencer,
Aye.
Spicer,
Aye.
Vogt,
Aye.
Ward. Aye. Wiseman.
Bill passes. 2021-25.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to accept a Hmgp Hazard Mitigation Grant for the purpose of reconstructing stormwater infrastructure near 608 and 609 North.
Mr. Morash.
Thank you. As clerk indicated, this is a grant agreement. Let's reconstruct 2 large culverts on Norris Drive. And this is a 75-25 grant, so the city would have to match with 25%, and that would have capital improvement sales tax for stormwater. $1,000 on it. Any question?
Any questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Hensley,
Aye. Aye.
Kimna,
Aye.
Lester,
Aye.
Schreiber, Spencer,
Aye.
Spicer,
Aye.
Vogt,
Aye.
Ward. Aye. Wiseman. Aye. Fitzwater.
Aye.
Bill passes. 2021-26.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, amending Chapter 19, Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Schedule J, parking prohibited by the modification of Veith Drive south of Canterbury Drive.
Mr. Morash.
Thank you. This item came from a citizen in the area, request to Transportation Traffic Commission to look at the parking on V. That commission did recommend council to approximately 45 feet of parking on V Drive south of Canterbury, about 2 spaces, but it's right in the curb, help improve sight distance. Answer any question.
Any questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Kimna,
Aye.
Lester,
Aye.
Schreiber, Spencer,
Aye.
Spicer,
Aye.
Vogt,
Aye.
Ward. Aye. Wiseman. Aye. Fitzwater.
Aye.
Hensley.
Aye. Aye.
Bill passes. 2021-27.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, dissolving the Facade Improvement Committee and allocating its powers and duties to the Historic Preservation Commission.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The role of the facade committee is to review and approve 3 programs in our Neighborhood Reinvestment Act: the commercial facade, the adaptive reuse, and the rental facade programs. The backgrounds are similar to what the Historic Preservation Commission members have, and the staff believe that this would be a wise move to help remove a little bit of redundancy in some of our committee activities. We discussed this with the Historic Preservation Commission and then also the Administration Commission, and it is an item that we'll still be doing the programs. We just will not have that extra committee doing it. So with that, I'd be glad to answer
Any questions? Councilman Fitzwater?
Just a comment, I think this is a very positive move. Hopefully we'll get some PR out of it. Anytime I think we can downsize government, ever so small or large, it's a positive move. So I appreciate the process going through. Been involved a little bit with the facade committee. I mean, I think it's very beneficial, but when we can consolidate it somewhere, I think that's a good move for our citizens. So thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Lester,
Aye.
Schreiber, Spencer,
Aye.
Spicer,
Aye.
Vogt,
Aye.
Ward. Aye. Wiseman. Aye. Fitzwater.
Aye.
Hensley,
Aye.
Kimna.
Aye.
Bill passes. 2021-28.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute a professional services agreement with Midwest ATC Service Incorporated for the purpose of providing air traffic control services at the Jefferson City Memorial Airport for the period of July 1, 2020 through December 31, 2020.
Thank you. As the clerk indicated, a grant agreement with our air traffic controller at the airport. Basically, this agreement catches us up from last July through last December. Contract's already continues to be ongoing. The cost for it to the actual city, $7,700 a month. It's about 18% of the overall cost. Say that as of April, this cost will go away. Just behind us, that FAA will be percent after. So the city, we're just gotta get through the next. We'll have another grant agreement catching up the last 4 months of that contract at some point.
Thank you, Mr. Marash. Any questions, discussion? Roll call, please.
Schreiber. Spencer.
Aye.
Spicer. Vogt.
Aye.
Ward. Aye. Wiseman.
Aye.
Fitzwater.
Aye.
Hensley.
Aye.
Kimna.
Aye.
Lester.
Aye.
Bill passes. Speaking of the Jefferson City Memorial Airport, I had an opportunity to see the new airport. It looks amazing and fantastic. So wonderful job. Great partnership, public-private partnership happened there, and it just looks fantastic. So thank you. Item 14, I'm sorry, Councilman Fitzwater.
Just to tag on your comments, I believe Mercer's having their coffee Friday morning out at the airport. It does look amazing.
It
Good
really
opportunity
does.
If people have a chance to go out there.
Now, I think, I thought it was at the airport too, but I think I might have misread it, or maybe they were going to and they're having it at the chamber. Is that right? This Friday?
Maybe so.
Yeah, as of last I've heard, it's still going to be at the chamber.
So
But it's about the
Yeah,
airport.
And,
Yeah.
but it is very close to being open. Restaurant.
So yeah, this Friday, and the public is welcome to tune into that Friday coffee. So thank you for that announcement. Item 14, nothing on the informal. Item 15, resolutions 2021-7.
A resolution authorizing the city to acknowledge and accept an engagement letter with Cunningham, Vogel, and Rose, PC for legal services.
Mr. Molman.
Thank you. This engagement letter would allow the city or allow the mayor and city clerk to execute an engagement letter with Cunningham, Vogel, and Rose. Cunningham, Vogel, and Rose currently serves as city's special counsel matters. This engagement letter would allow the firm to exceed the city administrator's procurement authority for potential work that was previously discussed.
Any questions or a motion to approve?
So moved.
Any further discussion? Councilman Fitzwater?
I continue to have concerns about the open-ended arrangement of this agreement. I tried to do some background checks and trying to look at other cities that may or may not have been involved in these activities. I think there was discussion that both Joplin and Columbia had utilized this firm, and looking, my understanding is they were part of a class action suit, pulled out of a class action, went on their own with the firm, and essentially received their legal fees back. I'm not sure there was a lot of other dollars recouped. I also have concern how we came about this firm. If we have looked at other, I know they have an agreement with the city for some other work. You know, I guess one question is, what advice have we gotten from the Missouri Municipal League as to cities kind of going on their own and pursuing these type of cases? My read on it is that it's, as I think they tried to indicate, a long shot at best. We may recoup our dollars, may not. This is a fairly unstructured area in Missouri right now, essentially depending on cities for tight ordinances, and I just don't feel comfortable handing an open-ended opportunity to someone when there's not a huge track record of success in this area. So I guess I would still like some answers to how much is this going to cost? What do we anticipate? What are the speed bumps where we take a look at it? And what is our overall opportunity to collect dollars?
Do you want to direct those to Mr. Molman?
I think, you know, Mr. Kimna's, or Councilman Kimna's listed as a sponsor, but I think our city attorney has spent the most time on it, so either would be fine. I just feel like there's not been a lot of information. You know, I know they made a long presentation for the second time, but there weren't a lot of specifics. So yes, I would direct it to our city attorney.
I would not address this outside of closed session unless directed by the entire council. My preference would be to address this in closed session. Unless the city council wants me to address it in open session.
Desire for the council to do this in open session? If not, we would
That would
likely
require
set
a
up-
motion and a vote.
So unless there's a motion to discuss open session, we will likely need to set up a closed session to questions.
It's the pleasure of the council.
So I don't think you can add it on to tonight's closed session, so. You may not be prepared to add it on to tonight's closed session.
Yeah. The closed session that is for tonight does not include legal action. So it would have to be session.
So I guess it'd be correct to say that since this does include legal action, that it would probably be most appropriately to discuss at closed session unless council wants otherwise. Don't hear a motion. Discuss it in open. Guess hearing none. We do have a motion and second on this current resolution. So any further discussion on the resolution, or how would we want to handle, how would council like to handle that? Seeing none, I guess a roll call vote then. So roll call, please.
Spencer,
Point of clarification, if I may. So we are voting on the resolution as presented tonight?
Correct.
No.
Spicer,
No.
Vogt,
Aye.
Ward. Aye. Wiseman,
Abstain.
Fitzwater,
No.
Hensley,
Aye. Aye.
Kimna,
Aye.
Lester,
Aye.
Schreiber. Five ayes, 4 noes, and an abstain.
So resolution fails, correct?
Resolution fails.
Item 16, presentations from the gallery on other topics. We have nobody signed up this evening. Item 17, any council and staff discussion of presentation topics. Item 18, any new business? Item, Councilman Spencer?
Real quick on new business. With the scooters program on the street now, and I've had quite a few concerning calls with those being placed in front of people's homes, especially on the west end. And we kind of witnessed an event in front of City Hall of someone almost getting run over by a scooter. So, and there's some confusion with the scooter participants with either being on the sidewalk or on the roadway. So is there clarification of that the police department is aware of and the public is aware of where those?
Scooters are not to be operated on the sidewalk, same as bicycles. They're intended to be operated on the streets and on the city's greenways. The way you know it's a greenway, it's at least 10 feet wide. So it's the size of two sidewalks put together.
Okay. And the return zone or return area for these scooters, can those be relocated, or how can, or are they return areas?
So
Or
it's a
they just-
dockless system. So they're to be parked anywhere on the right of way once they've been used. Now, if there's areas of the city that we do not want them initially setting up scooters in the morning, then we can report that to Bird and let them know, this is essentially a no staging area. And we've actually had a couple of instances of that already where someone said, this is right in front of my apartment complex. I
Right.
don't want it there.
That's
And
another
we were able to take care of that day. And so, if there are those types of areas, that's something that we can, identify and address with Bird.
Especially on a 3,000 block of Country Club, if that can be relocated out like to the mall area instead of on Country Club Drive, I think would.
Sure. Well, and so one thing to always remember is while the mall looks like a public pedestrian area, that is private property. And so the license agreement, specifically states if you're going to stage and park on private property, you have to get the explicit permission of them to do that. And so they would have to go out and get permission of the owners of the mall in order to park at the mall. I don't see why that would be a problem, but essentially that it's between Bird and the mall owner. Otherwise, the intention behind a dockless system is to park them in the right of way.
And I guess that right away, even if it was extended further west into the more of a commercial area, I think people would feel more comfortable with that instead of in more residential area.
Sure. Yeah,
Thank you.
and if there's any specific areas, especially transitions between residential and commercial areas, I think it makes a lot of sense to make sure that those areas are pushed more toward the commercial parts of town.
And if our citizens have complaints with the program, who should they call?
So that's one thing that we're still trying to work out. The overall answer to that question is that they should reach out to Bird directly. And there are means, listed on the scooters on ways to get a hold of Bird. We actually just got some communication, essentially press release, that kind of explains, here's your options on ways to get a hold of Bird. Phone, email, through the app, smoke signal, whatever it is. And so we'll be getting out that information to the public, through press release in the future. So there is a learning curve that goes along with it, but the overall answer is for most of the problems, reaching out to Bird directly is going to be able to address that situation. Now, if there's more policy considerations, things like, no parking zones, no setup zones, I guess is probably the better way to put it. Then, it probably needs to come through city staff, and I'd be happy to field those until we get a more permanent structure on how to handle those. But the learning curve is that we're going to get a spike of these complaints and inquiries when it first starts, and eventually people will learn and those will start to reduce. And I think we experienced that in the initial, the first time we did this with Spin a few years ago. So.
Yeah, speaking of the incident we had in front of City Hall, law enforcement stated that they should be riding on the sidewalk. So there is some confusion there, and we probably need to get that cleared up. And I think a good tool to utilize would be our website too, as a way to communicate.
Yep.
The do's and don'ts, so to speak. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Kroll?
And to that point, maybe also mention that in the press release on the appropriate.
Yep, absolutely.
Any other new business? Item 19, we need a motion to approve the June 21st, 2021 closed session minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Spicer. Vote.
Aye.
Ward. Wiseman.
Aye.
Fitzwater.
Aye.
Hensley.
Abstain.
Kimna.
Aye.
Lester.
Aye.
Schreiber. Spencer.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 20, I will have Mrs. Donaldson read the closed session proclamation.
Mayor will entertain a motion to go into closed session pursuant to section 610.021 subsection 3 personnel.
Is there a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Is there a second? Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Spicer. Vote.
Aye.
Ward. Aye. Wiseman.
Aye.
Fitzwater.
Aye.
Hensley.
Aye.
Kimna.
Aye.
Lester.
Aye.
Schreiber. Spencer.
Aye.
All right, we will go into closed session in this room here as soon as the room is cleared out, and we'll keep Councilman Hensley with us, but we'll have to exit out of the WebEx. So thank you all for being here tonight, and we will go into closed session.